chase is on, and I want to take you inside what it's like to be on a race team as we go down the road and we near the end of the chase. Well, you've been racing since February. You've had all but maybe 3 or 4 weekends off. The rest of the time, while everybody else is on the lake or at the ocean having fun in the summer, you're at the racetrack. And you're at your peak of your game, and you're in the most intense competition in sports, and that's cup racing. Now, what does this mean during the week? The problem with the racing business, for those of y'all who want to get in it, and I've been in it for 50 years and I've done all this, is that you race on the weekend and then all your friends go back to work on Monday and work till Friday. So if you're not back in the office Monday when the week starts, and that's the most productive day of the week for American business, you almost need to be there. You need to get back to the office. That's when you have your drivers meet, your team meetings, because this is a big team sport. And you talk about what you did right or wrong that weekend, what your strategy is for the next week. And so it's Monday becomes a pretty intense days. Now, if the guys are going to get a day off, it's probably going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's when you might take in your kid's ball game. Hopefully it's a baseball game, and it's going to be on Tuesday. So if it's Friday night, football, high school football, to see your kid play, you're probably not going to be able to do that. So you're missing a lot of family time as a result of this extra hard work. And plus, you turn around, Talladega's over, and you got to turn right around and get ready for Martinsville, a completely different track. Now, that's kind of the schedule the guys that work in the shop, so to speak, go on. Now, everybody that works in the shop doesn't go to races. That's why you keep hearing guys at the track say, well, I want to thank the boys back in the shop. Well, you ever think sometimes the boys back in the shop are working the very day of the race, getting the car ready for the next week or a test or the week after. I know that the guys at Toyota, Joe Gibbs, which is right down the street where I live, it seems like they're going wide open 7 days a week. Things going on. I know Joe doesn't like to work on Sunday, but sometimes you have to. So, at any rate, it's a real tough job, and many times it's 80 to 100 hours a week for a lot of people. Now, if you're young and full of vigor, you can stand that. But you look down pit road and you don't see many guys working in the pits that are much over 40 or 45 years old. You just can't stand. You can't stand the travel. You can't stand the pressure. You can't stand a lot of things. It just takes younger people to be able to do this. So what about a driver? What are they going through? Well, driver, wins or loses a race on Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, and he needs to be back at that team meeting on Monday. And then you think, okay, well, Tuesday and Wednesday he's going fishing, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's what he's got his sponsor commitments. He's got to appear at the dealership, or he's got to appear at a sales convention, or he's got to do something for the sponsor. And then Thursday rolls around and he's on his airplane, he's going to the race. And so you don't get much of a break during this long, hard haul. Because the one thing you don't hear about much is the fact that, hey, sometimes these guys are racing on Sunday, and they turn right around like they did after the Charlotte race, and they go to, and a number of them went to Charlotte for a test. The ones that weren't in Charlotte were down in Texas trying to do a test of their own. Unfortunately, it rained that out, and they had to postpone it till the following week. So it's a rigorous schedule. No matter what you do in cup racing, if you're in it full time, you're working a lot of hours. The good thing about it is there's a camaraderie on the road. Really what it is, we're kind of like a bunch of gypsies that travel to 36 different entities a year, but we're always around the same people. You get to know those people, You get to like those people, and it kind of becomes one big family. And it's a hectic environment, but it can be extremely fulfilling. Now, what about you young people that want to get into it? What do you got to do to get into this stuff? Well, there's two ways to go. One is the mechanical way, and that is end up working for a team, or NASCAR R&D, or manufacturer, whoever that is. The other is obviously a driver, or the many jobs that are working for sponsors or NASCAR or somebody like that. So what do you do to get ready for that kind of a career, particularly if you're in high school today? Well, if I was in high school today and I wanted to get on with a team, and I wanted to be on the mechanical end, fabricator, engine builder, etc., what I would look at is something like NASCAR Technical Institute, or one of your community colleges that has a race car program like Central Piedmont in Charlotte, or Gaston Tech over in Gastonia. And there's even schools outside the North Carolina area that do this. If you can't do that, if you don't have a school like that there, the best thing to do is work on somebody's Saturday night race car, learn the basics of how to get around an oval track with a short track car, whether it's a modified up there running Thompson, Connecticut, or Stafford Springs, or a stock car at Seekonk, or out at Skagit in the state of Washington. You can learn a lot about racing by working on a short track car, and then you got to move to the Charlotte area and start applying for jobs with teams and trying to get in. And you got to get on the ground floor, sweeping the floor. Eventually they'll put you to work on something else, and if you can prove yourself, you can move right up. Now, supposing it's you want to get into the management side of racing, where you're working at a speedway, or you're working for a sponsor, etc. Well, Belmont Abbey College has got a terrific program in motorsports management. Belmont Abbey is located 12 miles west of Charlotte. Beautiful setting. It's a wonderful school, and the motorsports management program is the first such program in the nation. The North Carolina A&T has a similar program as this today, as does Rowan Tech in Salisbury, North Carolina. So those are good spots to go to get the basics of what you need to do to get in with a sponsor after you get out of college. Now, the thing about Belmont Abbey is they require internships, and they help you get internships, like at Charlotte Motor Speedway or with Penske Racing, or one graduate is doing a terrific job over at working for Jeff Gordon at Hendrick Motorsports. And so you find Belmont Abbey graduates all over the place because of the internship deal. And you also find out during an internship whether you like it or not. And that's, you gotta like racing to be in it, because if you don't have a passion for it, it won't work. As a matter of fact, whatever you do, make sure you got great passion for that, because that's what separates work from drudgery. Is the passion. If you got the passion, work is fun. If you want to be a driver, what do you do? Well, first of all, you need to have a little money. I'm not saying you can't make it if you don't have money, but it's just tough. Now, if you happen to be a minority, Hispanic, African American, etc., NASCAR's diversity program is a great thing, and it's actually located right north of Charlotte, and you can apply for that through NASCAR Diversity in Daytona Beach, Florida. So if you're a minority and you're a driver and you got some kind of record, you can't just want to race. You've got to have already established yourself on a short track somewhere. and you can go through NASCAR Diversity. Now, if you're a plain person that's not a diversity person, what do? Well, the best thing you can do is, if you got money, try to start out something like a Legends car, which I invented with, co-invented with Elliott Ford Robinson. And that car we made and designed to teach people how to race. We've got so many guys in NASCAR now that cut their teeth on Legends cars, like the Bush brothers, countless other people that have gotten their start there. Now, what do you do after Legends cars? Around, you can get a used one for around $10,000 to $12,000, and if you take a Legends car and find a dirt track, there's not a lot of Legends dirt tracks, but if you can find a dirt track, get on that dirt track and learn how to get sideways with that race car. Then you move up out of Legends cars into late models, or a less expensive type of midget or sprint car. 360 Sprints are not nearly as expensive as some of the other ones. And those are great ways to move up. The main thing you got to do is win. Win and win. I used to box. I was a light heavyweight boxer. My dad said, he was a coach, I kept telling him, I want to turn pro. He said, if you think you can win the heavyweight championship of the world, then go pro. If you can't, don't. Well, I fought enough pros to find out that I was not quite there. And if you think you're not quite there, get away from it as fast as you can. Not a good way to make a living unless you win. So, if you win on the lower levels, you'll win on the higher levels. If you're not winning on the lower levels, find something else to do, because it won't work. That's the big thing. But if you are winning, there are ways to get there. You just got to keep winning. Because when Jack Roush and Rick Hendrick, Richard Childress, etc., when they watch a race, they're looking for the guys up front. That's what they want to hire. They want to hire somebody that can run their car up front. They're not hiring somebody to run third or fourth. They're running to win. And that's what you got to do on the lowest level you're in. If you're running 4 cylinders, win. If you run late models, win. Winning is everything, believe me. It's Humpy for the day.